Sure. This is John Turturro, and you're listening to Hollywood Babble-On.
Good enough, man.
This is John Turturro. I'll do it again. This is John Turturro, and you're listening to Hollywood Babble-On.
John Turturro, how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I appreciate you taking time. I know you're at a screening, and we've got this show's going out to 26 different countries, and I saw your movie, Romance and Cigarettes, yesterday, and I was blown away at the originality and the uniqueness of this film. Is so non-linear, and you should be so proud of yourself, man, and I hope everybody goes out and sees it, and we'll be pumping it hard here because you really stepped out in a town that everybody does the same exact goddamn thing. You did something really wild.
Yeah, well, it's been stirring around in my mind for a long time.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
And, people seem to be enjoying it. I mean, we've been playing in New York. This is into our fourth month, and we've been opening, and we've opened strong in a lot of other cities: Boston, Chicago, Dallas, San Diego. So, looking forward to opening here.
Well, now you would describe this as a musical, would you not?
I would describe it as a sort of down and dirty love story with musical interludes.
Yeah, it's really hard to label because it's. I almost felt like you redefined a comedy musical in this movie, and
I think it comes out of the expression. You never think. You don't know exactly what it is. I you know what I called it when I first finished the script. I called it a savage musical.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if I would refer to it as that anymore, but I think it's kind of a black, comic, story that has musical fantasy elements in it. It's the way people use music in real life.
That's exactly
to help them get through the day.
It almost sounds like it almost felt like when you're alone at your house and you start singing a song type of thing, and it played really well. And I just want to let people know who's in it because I think the casting was great because these are familiar faces that you buy into who they are immediately. James Gandolfini from The Sopranos, Susan Sarandon, Kate Winslet, who's awesome in the movie. I mean,
she is.
This woman can do anything. She can play a whore, she can play a period piece, and you believe her the second she's on screen.
She gives a pretty amazing performance in the film.
I thought so. And Steve Buscemi is grounds it and is he's Buscemi. He's great. But Mandy Moore, Mary Louise Parker, and Christopher Walken, man. I don't know what drug you were feeding him that day whenever he was shooting. I was on the floor watching him. I don't even know what the hell I saw. He was like Elvis and Buddy Holly and 16 other guys, and he was great. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, well, we're friends, Chris, and we've worked together a bunch of times, so we kind of have a shorthand between us.
You say action and get the hell out of the way?
And I know how to kind of, stimulate him a little bit. We just the littlest thing, And
right.
He just, he's a big Elvis fan, and so am I. So we kind of that was a point of departure for us.
Well, now the Coen brothers were the executive producers on this, right?
Yeah, they helped me get the money. They recommended that I should read James. They really, really helped me. In the editing room, they had final cut of the film, and they just were through the whole process. They were excellent and they're great guys, and besides being terrific filmmakers, they really they're very proud of the film, and they've really stuck by it through everything.
Well, it had a Coen brothers feel to it. It's that non-linear film, and you come out of it smiling. And the thing is, it's a really good story. There is a great story there, and there's a non-redundancy that I see in a lot of movies where you see variations of the same scene over and over again.
Right.
And you did not do that. This is a story that moves forward. The characters are all really well fleshed out, and they're fun. And I think they're eccentric, but they're not so far over the top that they're not believable.
Right. Well, people. Life has all those elements. Life has, there's elements where people are really grounded and gentle, and then there's when you get angry, and And then there's romantic things when people are able to be romantic, and then you're full of lust, and then you want to be able to be spiritual sometimes. So, life is full of all of those things, and really the film came from a lot of observations I had in the world that I grew up around.
Yeah, well...
So I wasn't trying to invent people.
Right.
I was just, I was putting them, maybe I heightened it a little bit, but I wasn't trying to make something that wasn't there.
Right. Well,
in a way. And
what about...
I liked it. I like when...
Go ahead,
people show me... No, I'm sorry. When people show me the way they look at life, from a very particular point of view. I'm always appreciative when someone shares that with me. So that's what I try to do.
Now, I mean, the whole directing versus acting experience. I mean, you have cameo in here, but I mean, it's a different experience when you're in charge of everything. It's your vision. It's your piece. You have to communicate with the actors. You can't lock yourself down in your own little world for your character. What was that like for yourself, getting out of what you normally do and being responsible for those people?
Well, it's a big endeavor, and you really get to learn a lot about yourself. How you deal with other people. I've done it twice before, and what you think is interesting. It's in some ways you're much more exposed.
Right.
Than when you're playing a character in someone else's movie, even though your face is up there. And so there's a little bit of you in everything, in all the people and all the characters and the design and the shot selection and obviously the music selection. So it's a huge undertaking, but something that's it's very rewarding on a lot of different levels, especially when you see people receive it.
Well, isn't it a wild experience to conjure something up out of nowhere, put it on a piece of paper, and then these people bring it to life, and what was in your head, suddenly you're looking at it, and people are laughing at it and tapping their feet to it, and I mean, that's got to be a wild experience for you.
It is a wild experience. Sometimes you can't really, fathom. But, you're the one who started the whole thing going, because you just go, wow, it's on its own now. It's like a kid, walking for the first time.
Well, I mean, the opening for me, the opening shot of the movie is so random and so good. And I thought your use of the camera was really tremendous, because there's a shot in the movie in particular where you have three people in a frame, one sitting in the kitchen on the counter, Gandolfini sitting at the table, and then to the left of the frame. So you've always got, there's something for the eye. There's action going on in the foreground, middle ground, background. One person leaves. And I thought it was really an excellent shot for someone who doesn't direct on a regular basis. That I thought it was really impressive, that particular shot in the movie.
Oh, thanks. That was something that, sometimes you work from the composition. And sometimes I like that occasionally to see the democracy of the frame, and you get to choose what you want to watch within that, and sometimes that's a wonderful thing, and it can be quite revealing, and not everything has to be cut really quickly.
Right, exactly.
And that was a quieter moment in the scene, So composition can. I've worked with a lot of directors who are very strong that way, and it can be very revealing.
Now, what was it like talking these actors? Gandolfini isn't known for singing. These are guys that are, they're not singers, and yet they really threw themselves into it and did it. I thought it's like, you go to a play and the guy doesn't have, the perfect voice, but he's in character and he's holding the tune, and it's nice. I liked it. But what was it like talking these? Did anyone show any ambivalence? Or I don't know, man. I don't see myself dancing down the street with a trash man.
A lot of the people liked the script, immediately.
Right.
Obviously, there was always concerns about who could do what musically, and I said, listen. If you can, sing along like you normally do,
right?
Everybody wants to be, whoever your favorite singer is. From, if you want to be Frank Sinatra, if you want to be James Brown, you want to be Springsteen, everyone does that. And so I sent them all the coaches and stuff. I said, but the dominant voice in your soundtrack is the person who you're listening to, not you.
Right.
Even if you're singing louder than them. So I assured them that that would be the dominant voice. So as long as they weren't hitting, terrible notes or anything, it was okay. Because that was the whole idea. People, everyday people use music to help them get through the day, to fantasize, to reveal how they feel, articulate, to escape, to remember something. We all have our own emotional soundtrack, our own private soundtrack, and it is, the quickest way to travel emotionally. Music, it's immediate. So, I assured them that that's what it would be like, and everyone was very interested in participating in it because I think actors are looking to do different things.
Oh, I think it was a great one for these actors, especially Gandolfini, who's
right.
seen as the mob boss, and that's he's that's what he's labeled at, and now all of a sudden he's sensitive and he's singing, and it's a whole different side to him. All of them, I thought they. I mean, the stuff with Walken and the umbrellas with Sarandon. My mouth was hanging open and it was smiling at the same time. I just thought, he's so unique and so different, and the character that you devised for him, I thought was really, really memorable, and I think people are really going to talk about it.
Well, that's what, it's nice if you could try to surprise people, because there's only so many stories to tell, and it's really, the way you do it. And I think, that was something that I wanted to do. I was at least hoping to do.
Yeah, but John, this is for adults. This is people who have a brain, and without it being heavy at the same time, and it's non-preachy. For me, I'm tired of the moronic 40-year-old virgin movies that it's you got to be a freaking moron, and it's nice to see a comedy that's got music and good acting and a good story and good characters come out that people can enjoy without everything being bathroom humor. Man, it's. I thought it was really, really tremendous. In the same vein that you look at some of the Coen brothers, that the Big Lebowski, man, which is one of my favorite roles that you've ever played. It's unique characters, in that
right. film,
and yet it's a story, and it's over the top, but not so much that you go, what the hell am I looking at?
Right. Well, if you can use your imagination, and if the imagination comes from sometimes something you've seen in life or whatever, I think that's a great thing to try to cultivate, because everyone has an imagination. And I think, when you're in the same, even me as an actor, I don't want to do the same movie that I've done 10 times.
Right.
You're looking to do something different, and I think audiences want that too, as long as they can relate to it in some way. And I think this film is very, it's very straightforward that way.
Are you looking to do more directing and maybe directing some things where you're more prominent acting in?
Well, I'd like to direct some more, whether that includes me being in it or not. It has to be the right thing if I'm going to do both. But I had such a great cast that I was, delighted with everyone. So I was never frustrated, because they were all making it their own and making it live on their own. So it was delightful for me.
It looked like you guys were all having a very good time. It looked like a party.
No, yeah, the spirit in which we made it, it's reflected in the movie.
John, my cousin actually works on bridges in New York. That's what he does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he does. He gets out there dead of winter, and it's 10 below, and he's literally out there on the Brooklyn Bridge scraping rust and painting and doing exactly what those guys are doing. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I'm obsessed with bridges. I just love bridges.
Really?
I just think they're these. I'd love to make a movie about the making of a bridge. It's probably really expensive, but they're just such great. You want to say structures that actually serve and bring people together. And you never see things about the building of something monumental. You see about the sinking of something or the destruction of it.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of work that in the movie a little bit. So we were able to get on the Williamsburg Bridge.
Oh, it was the Williamsburg Bridge. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the Williamsburg Bridge. So I think I'm going to have to wrap it up a little bit here, you're telling me.
No problem, man. We appreciate
do you have one more quickie?
Well, no. I just wanted to know.
That's great that your cousin works on bridges. Tell him my hat's off to him.
I will tell him that, and I want you to know that my wife interviewed you for Transformers. She's the entertainment writer for Time Magazine, and you were Rebecca Keegan, and you were a real gentleman.
Yeah, I know her.
You good-looking blonde, and
right.
You were a real gentleman to her, and she I appreciate it, and she appreciated it, and she
well, tell her thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad I was. Otherwise, you'd hit me over the
head. Hey, John, before you go, we know the movie opens December 21st, and after I let you go, we're going to play a trailer for you. Can you just let everybody know that you're John Turturro and you're listening to Hollywood Babble-On for us?
Sure. This is John Turturro, and you're listening to Hollywood Babble-On.
Good enough, man.
This is John Turturro. I'll do it again. This is John Turturro, and you're listening to Hollywood Babble-On.